Renekton banned out by 100 Thieves here as well, with Trundle being FlyQuest's last ban of the first half.
I just want to hammer home, how crazy it is. If you go back just like a month or two, well, really just a month, the fact that 100 Thieves would be in the finals against FlyQuest, all tied up. And just to let you know, if you didn't, this is the first time that FlyQuest has actually dropped a game with Bwipo this entire split.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly, and that it puts much more meaning on this 100 Thieves miracle run that they are doing through the gauntlet all the way from the bottom. Because there was so much stacked against them this split, with the organization leaving as well. But these players are not going anywhere. These players are definitely stars.
This is a good audition.
They're looking very
yeah, it is.
If you wanted to make an argument for I deserve to be in the league, how about making finals, playing FlyQuest toe-to-toe? I think teams are going to be salivating to sign these players.
Yeah. I would also start a petition, even though some of his teammates had said that River, this might be his last year. He didn't guarantee it yet, so let's start the petition to keep River as well. We'll keep all of these players.
Give me the pen right now. I'll sign. Give me the pen. I'm ready to go.
All right, well, he's going to be playing against an inspired Sejuani here. Sejuani first pick sets up for possible melee solo laners for FlyQuest. I would say that's way more likely for a top lane melee champ. Quad is way better at, mage control mage mid. So maybe this Sejuani early is just setting up for a Renekton for Bwipo, because that combination is very good. Renekton is also very good. Oh, it's just banned as well. So he's not going to be the Renekton, but maybe some other sort of melee champ on the top side for him.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have a lot of options for Bwipo. This guy is so flexible with all the different types of champions that he could bring out. We've been working through a lot of tanks already. Naafiri going to be coming out for River. I feel like he was the best Naafiri player in the league, but this has really fallen out of favor.
And it's a great matchup into Sejuani. So I think it is a good time to bring that favor back, bring the dog back. Into Sejuani, you have so much freedom. It is very easy to use your W to avoid the CC from Sejuani. You go Conqueror. You can basically lifesteal off the pig.
The special here from Quad, going to be bringing it out.
the old pocket pick.
Exactly. Rarely gets to play it. It's often banned in any sort of a good scenario, but this is a blind Ryze with the Cassio open. Really good Cassio matchup. And Quad, he is famous for this pick. Really excels on the Cassiopeia. So bold by Quid to just slam down that Ryze, and we'll see how it works out.
Get the Aatrox here as well for Bwipo. They banned out that Renekton that you were talking about, Kobe. Yeah. But hey, they're saying, all right, we've got another strong, blind pickable top laner right here with the Aatrox.
So a lot of fun stuff you can pick into Aatrox, like stuff with lots of mobility to get around the queues. They were hovering well, they were hovering a lot of stuff. But in the end, it's probably just going to be more standard. They were hovering far too many things there. And in the end, it'll just be the classic Jax for Dhokla.
Well, and now we had, carry versus carry game 1, tank versus tank game 2. We are back to carries again here. Dhokla and Bwipo have just been scrapping heavily in that top lane. They are going right at each other. And it's going to be fun to see Dhokla on this Jax again. I remember, when he first subbed in with the team, bringing out this Jax, he was looking for solo kills, looking to play aggressive. He really has had a different perspective on how he wants to play after coming back, not being in the LCS then LTA for a while. It really changed his mindset, and he wants to kind of have no regrets, play exactly how he thinks he should on stage.
And I think it was you I was talking with when we saw him come back and play so aggressively and play so in the face of his opponents. It's awesome to see somebody who was in the league, out for a while, and then returns to have that killer instinct instead of just playing cautious, playing to make sure that he can still just, meet the bar. He wants to exceed the bar and smash the bar, and that's what makes him so fun to watch.
And early on, Jax is definitely a good pick into that top jungle, because your Counter-Strike means that they're not going to be able to stack up Sejuani passive stun very quickly. But when Sejuani has access to her ultimate, then you really do have to respect the possible jungle ganks up there and temper your aggression a little bit as far as when and how much you are jumping all the way in.
Just blame your jungler if you die to it.
There you go.
That works
the natural opportunity.
I will say, Naafiri can go jungle invade versus Sejuani and push Sejuani out in a lot of times.
Why wasn't my jungler doing that?
Yeah.
It's my jungler's fault. Always is. Always was.
We're on the same page here, Kobe.
Don't worry, I'll go for the invades. Also, though, if I go in and I find him and I fight,
then it's top diff.
And there we go.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
All right. So one thing I'm noticing here here in the second half of the bans. Renata Glass, first ban from 100 Thieves, is telling me that they want the second half of their draft to be more full send with the Jax and with the Dog. On the other side, Rakan and Sivir going to be banned away. I feel like if you're trying to go full send, both of those champions would be good ones to pick. That's the read that FlyQuest has, so they're going to take them out. I don't know if that is a graphics error or if 100 Thieves missed their final ban.
Poppy is the ban, though.
Poppy is the ban. Okay, the last ban there for 100 Thieves is Poppy. It's just not displaying itself, so that's not available either. Jhin, the lock-in for 100 Thieves.
Okay, so looking at some CC for their bottom lane, some playmaking down there. Unfortunately for FBI, he's already used up both of his really good stacking champions, both the Smolder and the Senna, so gonna have to go with the good old-fashioned Jhin pick for himself. Meanwhile, drop down on the graphics real quick, but we can update you. The next two answer picks for the bottom lane for FlyQuest, they're going with the Lucian Braum here.
Okay.
They have the confidence here. Braum, I mean, does have very good ways of controlling melee carries, so can make it kind of difficult for the Naafiri and the Jax sometimes to actually operate within the team fight. That plus a Cassiopeia is a lot of counter engage.
Yeah, exactly. If the enemy team is spinning their second half bans, banning dedicated counter-engaged champs like Poppy and Renata, you're saying, all right, well, there's a third one, and it's this big, bald mustache man with a shield. We're going to lock him in. That's our guy.
And while there's been a lot of talk about EU Lucian and 14% win rate over there, here in North America, Lucian has a 66% win rate. The Lucian has been looking good. And Massu, definitely one of those Lucians that can pilot it to a really high level. So going to be excited to see how he can perform, especially coming off that Ferris game where he was pressured so heavily and was really punished. You know, he had an uncharacteristically low amount of farm, didn't have the impact that he would have liked to.
I swear, North American Lucian has come a long way. But I mean,
it has.
It also used to be us being like, whoa, please, nobody pick this champ.
That's why I took the opportunity here.
Yeah, it's actually a true moment that we need to give some breathing room here because North American Lucian is absolutely popping off. Like, even FBI, who he's playing against, had
Our
a
boy
massive...
Jan, B-Boy. We got lots.
There's a lot of good Lucian players
We're handing out Lucian cards left and right.
Everybody's got a Lucian that they want to show off. And for Massu, I think this is a great pick. It's a confidence pick to bounce back with after that weaker Varus game that you were talking about, Azael. It's uncharacteristic to see him 30 CS behind and not contributing big damage to the team fights like we've seen him do so many countless times before. And I think game 3 is a chance to redeem that.
I got to admit, though, the first thing I think of when I see Massu Lucian is the tri-brush. I am traumatized.
We're going to have to get you into some therapy. We are going to have to get past this.
We're going to give you something new to think about.
Okay,
yeah, that's what this game should be.
He's going to do something cool, and then we'll have a positive association.
He's in a tri-brush. He's out of a tri-brush.
Okay, all right, all right.
He's walking away. He's
just
safe.
pretend, just don't look at the tri-brush, Kobe. Look, he's by a line brush. He's by a line brush. That's a line brush. That's fine.
Thank you, Massu. Thank you.
That's just a normal brush.
You just need to use some positive associations here. You know, think about a happy place. Think about FlyQuest 3-0ing G2. Forget the tri-brush. You know?
Cleanse the palate of the mind.
I like that.
All right.
Thank you, boys. Helping me work through this trauma here.
I got you, man.
That's what homies are for.
That's what your friends are for, man. Sometimes you just
okay,
need
he's
a little
fishing
help.
for gold here.
All right. Yeah, Dhokla pulls up a $5 fish. Feeling pretty good. It was actually worth more than 5 because look, the scoreboard says 6. So it was like 5.5. Oh, that's only a $1 fish. That one doesn't taste
he's
very
getting
good.
rich.
You get mostly ones. That's why the 5 was a big reaction.
All right, now a little bit of trading between our mid laners here. And remember, this is an old pocket pick for Quad. This is something that a lot of teams and a lot of players have had so much respect for him on. Also in a classic counter matchup against the Ryze.
I got to point out that we got a leash from Bwipo. Bwipo actually leashing for Inspired. So this is very intentional. It's very rare nowadays to leash for your jungler, but against Jax here, you're always going to have to seed priority early. And so he wants to supercharge the clear for Inspired to actually be able to get something, we don't know what, but off towards the bottom side of the map even quicker. And we did mention as well in Champ Select that Naafiri does get to prey on Sejuani as far as the individual one-on-one matchup. So that is a little bit of extra boost in clear speed super early on with Bwipo helping out.
All right, so as our junglers are off to their starts, we've got Emily standing by for an interview with FlyQuest coach Nukeduck.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Nukeduck as we kind of watch his team go through the first few levels of the game. Nukeduck, going after that loss, what did you tell the guys in the prep room before this game?
The main thing is that 100 Thieves like plays very distinct, and we got sucked in a lot in this game, and we were like, I guess, nervous, just like going with their flow a lot, and that basically means that they go unpunished when they do like their things. So that was the main priority. Yeah, try to like go like back more to our game. Yeah.
And then in looking at this draft, Naafiri is a pick that Rivers picked out a lot in the past when it was super popular. We've seen it rising in LPL and LCK. How surprised were you to see this come out?
I mean, a little surprised. You know, yeah, we haven't seen it much in scrims, but you know, like of course, if they played in LCK and whatnot, then people in they're probably gonna pick it. So yeah, I didn't expect it, but it doesn't make a huge difference, I think.
And then going forward with this draft, what do you expect of the overall game flow, and what do you want to see from your team to do better and take this game home?
We have to, you know, not run after them too much and not like make sure we don't like lose laning phase, I guess. Yeah, because the enemy picked to win laning phase, I assume. Otherwise, the comp doesn't really like makes much sense from them. So yeah, we just gotta be fine on that.
Well, we're gonna go back to the action, so it looks like some stuff is happening on the top side.
You had asked that question, Kobe, you know, what is Inspired going to do with that time? Well, it let him re-clear. Dhokla forces the flash. He would have had the solo kill if Inspired wasn't there, I think. Would have been close at the very least. But spicy stuff, and River's coming bot.
Yeah, River looking for Busio and Massu here. Throws out the first Darkened Dagger, doesn't find a whole lot. Second one's going to miss there as well. So River just providing a little bit of pressure relief here for Eyla, as we will see him jump forward there with a call of the pack into the Eviscerate. Busio takes a lot of damage here. Second Darkened Dagger doesn't hit. Busio nicely timed there with that flash to get away as Dhokla arrives after taking his first recall.
Yeah, Q2 with Conqueror stacks there. You gotta flash that for Busio, so good job by him. He does live. Bwipo also had to flash up on the top side, so 100 Thieves at the beginning of this game putting on the pressure and getting the summoner spells.
Yeah, and they get this early swap off here, so nicely done. They already had. They have a 15 CS advantage right now on the Jhin over the Lucian, so they are in a really good spot. And Eyla was also able to hold that wave for so long to have that stacked for Dhokla, so he wouldn't lose a lot off of the swap. We'll have to see how much CS is there for Massu to pick up. Looks like a lot of stacking waves that will obviously close that CS gap, but still, nice early moves here from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and especially kind of nice tempered aggression from Dhokla to be able to jump out with his Trinket Ward afterwards, escape the kind of bounce back gank that Inspired did. And we were talking about the extra time as Dhokla now getting zoned away from the wave by the duo. But when you do leash for your jungler like Bwipo did, and then you don't show up top lane for a while, your opponents call that. And so then they kind of get lulled into, oh, it's just going to be a top-down clear from Sejuani. But him bouncing back actually turned it a lot. Bwipo now.
Yeah, Bwipo's in some serious danger. He's 40% HP, level 5. River also level 5. Eyla takes a turret shot walking through to give himself the positioning that he wants for the dive here onto Bwipo. Eyla, however, takes a big hit! And Bwipo just sat all three of them down for a lesson.
Eyla! He flashes and doesn't get out of chain range! He got pulled back in! Holy moly, Bwipo able to get the chain into Q3 kill.
That was nice from Bwipo, man.
I mean, Bwipo playing it excellently in the 1v3, but also Eyla walks up, takes a tower shot early, then flashes, doesn't get out of the chains. Like you're saying, Kobe gets snapped back into that Q3. Massive mistakes from Eyla. Costs what should have been a pretty easy to execute dive, loses both his summoners and first blood.
Well, now Quid's coming down to the bottom lane here with Dhokla, just trying to allow this Jax to get the wave shoved up so that Massu and Busio can't have this exactly where they want it to be. The extra pushing power from the Ryze is going to guarantee that Dhokla can now have his opportunity to get out of here if he
hold it
needs
again.
to. And you can see the wave, though. Quid's roam is costing him as Quad crashes the mid lane wave into the tier 1 turret, and that's going to be minions lost for 100 Thieves as now Quad meets River in the river and tries to see if there's anything that he needs to do here, but it doesn't look like it as the waves are all wiped out and Quid heads back mid.
I mean, honestly, this was just so well done there by FlyQuest. This sequence of events is so good for them. Obviously, there's this 1v3 play on the top side. This is what I'm talking about. Eyla walks through, 2 tower shots, loses his heal, but he still wants to be the one tank, and Eyla almost dies again in a 1v2. He has got to tighten up here.
Lock in.
Yeah, this Karma has got to be careful. You are not playing something tanky. You are not playing something that can just haphazardly do these things. You are not the Braum. Karma cannot carry a door. This Aatrox is hungry.
I mean, they have to base in a 2v1. Now Bwipo has control of the lane. They're the ones that had the earlier swap. They're the ones that had the better spots. Dhokla gets away frozen on a bot. They have this 1v3 outplay on the top side. Then Quad, is pushing in a wave mid because Quid had to roam down, loses an entire wave to try to unfreeze the wave there. This sequence of events was just so good from FlyQuest. The wave manipulation, the individual outplay is culminating in a very nice advantage. 800 gold.
All right, well, let's see if the grubs change any of that. River just starts them up. Inspired is here. He's got ultimate ready.
Yeah, but you're going to see a rotation over from Quid and Eyla here as well.
The duo lane is walking over for FlyQuest now, so you see them cross through mid lane at the moment, but it's all just one and out. Okay, so 100 Thieves,
right.
Good comms there.
Yeah, exactly. They're saying, all right, they can't get the grubbies. They're not going to get a full 3-0, even if they get a majority, so we'll just dip. They don't want to overcommit to this and put themselves in a bad spot, so Inspired should be able to just grab this. We'll see if Eyla tries to steal one away with a Mantra Q, get cheeky with it a little bit. But
He's had enough cheeky plays already. So I say...
No more cheek out of you, young man.
Yeah, after that, you say, calm down a little bit. You got no flash, buddy. Maybe when your flash comes back up, we'll give you a chance at one more.
Yeah, you're losing some privileges. If you were going Q-Max, it's an E-Max Karma now. You're standing behind me. You're pressing shields. You're in a timeout, buddy.
Everybody's health bar better have some gray on it in the next team fight. Bwipo's going to try to get this wave shoved up down here. And honestly, even though earlier on we were praising Dhokla for the fact that he almost had that solo kill there on Bwipo, but if you look at the current state of the farm of the top laners, like the econ between these guys, 70 versus 49. Of course, there's more for Dhokla to pick up, but it's still a substantial lead for Bwipo.
Yeah, I mean, the lane swap was just brutal to Dhokla, with it being frozen on him with the enemy duo. And so having to scavenge now under his tower while FlyQuest collect their dragon.
I mean, it's a really bad feeling, right? You feel like, hey, I outplayed in the 1v1, I put you in this bad spot, then my team fails the dive, gives over first blood, and I'm having the wave frozen on me. It's not like you can outplay the Braum Lucian in a 1v2. Yeah. So it's just a tough spot, right? It's not really like an individual mistake that created that. That is team play from FlyQuest. Great job in the 2v1 punishing, and a failed execution on the other side from 100 Thieves, and that puts Dhokla in a really tough spot now in his 1v1 now that they're meeting up.
We do still have a pretty good gold lead here for FBI on the Jhin in particular. This guy has had some impressive performances so far on his stacking champions, so we'll have to see how well he does now on this one that will not stack. So the Jhin should have plenty of opportunity to contribute to these fights from a long way away when the Jax and the Naafiri run in, and it's all about the accuracy. Can you hit those shots? The deadly flourishes, the curtain calls. If he can have those dialed in, FlyQuest could have some serious trouble because everybody on the team, as long as Braum's Unbreakable isn't up, could be potentially very vulnerable to those, except for Inspired Sejuani. Bwipo jumps back in for the Q3. Not really going to find much off of that one as he and Dhokla continue to scrap.
Yeah, I mean, it really just further emphasizes how rough that mistake was for 100 Thieves. Wait a second.
Hold on, Bwipo popping the World Ender to try to get away from Dhokla's Counter-Strike here. Now that's ulti for the Aatrox, but no ulti spent there for Dhokla. So if this runs out without anything else happening, and it looks like it will, that's now advantage for Dhokla in the 1v1.
Yeah, really well played. And Bwipo knows there is an opportunity to get solo killed here, so he has to back it up now. Dhokla going to try to hold the wave a little bit, but of course, it's just going to be a TP right back from Bwipo, and you can see Inspire moving out towards that side of the map. So even if it did get frozen, he will be able to reset it, no problem. And Dhokla going to have to go back to base here and TP back himself after collecting these range minions.
And the plan for 100 Thieves, with these champions, is to have some good map control later with split pushing. But if Bwipo's Aatrox is having a really good start to the game, that could make that a lot more difficult. You want your Jax and your Ryze to be good in their 1v1s versus him, but if Bwipo's getting a lot of money off the dual lanes...
There it is, Helm's Pursuit with a Rune Prison. Quad trying to outplay it here a little bit with the miasma to slow them down. He's already down to 40% HP. He's going to need more poison there on River, but here come the Dark and Daggers. Flash of the wall from River. Quad with the outplay in a 1v2. He's still alive for now. Quid finally takes him out, but Quad's fangs sink into River, and he makes it a fair trade.
That is crazy because River even immune to his ulti as he goes in with the W. He timed that perfectly, and I thought with that happening, I was like, wow, nicely played by River. It's an easy kill, but even from there, it is Quad able to make something happen. This guy is just terrifying on the pick. 5-0, 12.6 KDA. He knows how to make it work on the Snake.
Yeah, he's turns out pretty good at the Cassiopeia. Remember, back when nobody else was playing this, it wasn't really even being picked up as a counter pick in certain matchups. It would still get banned against FlyQuest just because of Quad being this known for it.
And he had his Ryze done. So he's going to be able to apply this slow to River. So even though the immune on the ultimate, he's getting slowed on the miasma, does have the Ryze even as he tries to go back in. Quad dodging a lot of skill shots there is very important. Dodging these Qs from Quid means that he had enough life to be able to answer the flash over. He was ready with his flash to answer over the wall too, so not having to use his flash to dodge those Qs, actually just using his tail. His tail. Just slithering.
Just sliding back and forth.
Sliding back and forth, dodging those.
Oh, man. You see the two sides of it. Yeah, I mean, not only just dodging out those Qs from Quid, he was dodging the Darkened Daggers as well. I mean, he just played it so well. And River, while he did actually backstep and avoid the Q that was coming through, that Noxious Blast, he was still standing in the miasma, which means you're still poisoned and you're taking that bonus Twin Fang damage. So yeah. I think he kind of overstayed his welcome in that a little bit. But still, great play from Quad. Comes up big in that 1v2. Those are the kind of plays that just hype up the team. I mean, you can see the reaction from Bwipo. It gives you so much confidence going forward in your teammates when they can make a big play like that.
Yeah, you just naturally trust the guy. He's put in a spot where he should be dead to rights, and he comes out with an equal trade. You're feeling great because you now know that your enemies are investing resources for what should be a good play, and it's just not paying dividends. So everything that you do is just going to be that much better by comparison as long as you can clutch it out. We do have 45 seconds on the clock until the Rift Herald spawns, but less than 30 until the next Drake is on the Rift. Massu fires off the culling, but only gets a little bit of FBI's HP as 100 Thieves move to control the bottom side river.
Yeah, and Ghostblade there, you know, really highly prioritized with the tier 2 boots, gives you a lot of movement speed, so he forces out that dash, then gets the Inspire from Eyla to be able to sidestep most of the culling.
They're going for an invade on bottom side here, though. River made his way down, jumped over the wall, saw Inspired at Krugs, so they know that there is defense here with Inspired being around and just finishing up Krugs. Since they see him, they're going to start the Dragon instead. No dive for 100 Thieves, but full commitment here. And Quad can just stay top. The Cassiopeia getting money up there on the top tower, getting turret plate and pushing the wave in is good for FlyQuest. So they make the call, you know what? Yeah, you can have your Dragon, don't care. And then 100 Thieves do use their Quid teleport to answer the big wave.
Yeah, and while Quad is getting paid in the side lane, Dhokla is most certainly not. He's at 90 CS right now at 15 minutes. You know, has been in a bit of a tough spot. You know, got frozen out and has not been able to find an opportunity to really just sit in that side lane and try to catch up and farm. He's very far behind Bwipo. And Bwipo on these bruiser-type champions, I just feel like this guy's built different in the team fight. It'll be interesting to see if he does go in towards Sterix. Already has the Sundered Sky, and we know how much he loves Sterix and loves playing around that power spike for 5v5.
And I mean, you can just see the difference in their economies in the inventories. They both have their first fully completed item, but then Bwipo has tier 2 boots all the way done. Jax is walking around barefoot.
His toes are just out there wiggling in the grass.
Why did you have to be that? That is...
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you...
It's tragic.
Why are you saying that?
I mean, look at him. He's got no shoes. Doesn't look clean. Nobody wants to walk on that.
Don't zoom in on me.
Please buy this man some shoes. Dhokla does
Somebody
get
help him.
back by
At least the brown bags.
Chains, if only he had some shoes, the chains wouldn't have got it.
At least we've updated Jack's model since the beginning, but Quid.
Yeah, Quid's in some danger here. Inspired and Quad knock him over. And critically, that is also the 3rd kill of the game for FlyQuest. They already got the 3 neutrals. That means they earn themselves the feats of warfare. Busio throws up the Unbreakable as he does get rooted there by the Karma, which means he's not going to take a whole lot of damage from it. It's a more than 1,000 gold lead here for FlyQuest 16 minutes in.
The rich just get richer. Bwipo has even nicer shoes now.
Bwipo's got the special limited edition version.
Yeah.
And Dhokla is still without footwear, but the curtain call opens up. Massu in a little bit of danger here. Busio blocking up,
River
trying to keep him alive. River coming around from the side. Massu dashing away, gets away for the 4th shot. Nice exhaust onto River to guarantee that he cannot get the kill. Now they want to find some more. Deadly flourish on Massu puts him down to about 50 HP. He's still bleeding to the Naafiri Darkened Daggers. They will not be able to kill him. And 100 Thieves, they get really close, but they don't get get what they came for.
What a clutch exhaust there from Busio. Had spellbooked over to it, found the perfect opportunity. Inspired's going in. Does he really want this? Yeah, he can't go for the charge.
The triple!
Yeah, he's going down into the river.
It's going to expire, I think, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, he just rams it into the wall instead. Just park it in the ditch. Oh boy, Dhokla, Bwipo, and Quad should be able to find this one pretty easily. Bwipo will take the kill credit on that one, and now River's got to try to get away here too, because Inspired would lock him down. And now, even if the Herald doesn't charge, that first turret is going down, Kobe.
FlyQuest are dismantling the side lanes here versus 100 Thieves. The Inspired ganks, the rotation down to the other side this time around. They already destroyed them up on the top side. Now they can get second charge off as well. A secondary tower into the hands of Bwipo. This is huge. FlyQuest actually just blowing open the lead.
Okay, Eyla and FBI trying to see if there's an angle here back towards Massu as River shows up, but Quad is also shadowing. They don't want anything to do with this super fed snake. Bwipo does secure the tier 2 turret down there in the bottom lane. It's now 18 minutes into the game, and FlyQuest has a 3,000 gold lead. Normally, I would say this means the game should be theirs to decide, but we have seen 100 Thieves team fight their way back from these types of situations so many times throughout their run through this bracket. Now, the pressure is truly on. I feel like this has been the most one-sided game so far in the series, and 100 Thieves have to step up.
And I mean, just look at the top laners. Down here, we got one. Up here, we got the other at the top. So definitely going to be tough now for Dhokla to really stay relevant, as Bwipo got even more gold, got that tier 2 gold from the bot lane.
Okay, so let's take tally of where we're at in the game. It is 60 seconds until Dragon. It is also 60 seconds until Otacon. Neither team really has a whole lot of flower petals just yet, so Otacon could also signal a big spike in terms of your overall lead through that. So I'm curious who we're going to go for here, boys.
I would say it's all up to FlyQuest at the moment, because they have multiple 2-item advantages in mid lane and in bottom lane. They do have the extra carry power down here, so they're ready. It is their choice when they want to actually bring their Sejuani over and use Inspired's ultimate, because they are built to team fight. A very, very structured team fight here. You got Braum, Sejuani in front. As long as Quad is kept safe there, I feel like FlyQuest are going to have huge potential. So it's very dangerous for 100 Thieves, and I almost just want to lean towards, hey, maybe like give up the next Dragon and just go for some side lane money in the meantime instead. Choose your moment a little bit more wisely. They did, of course, just now get some second item completions for their carries as well, though.
Yep, and Knight's Vow was the second item for Inspired. He is linked with Quad, so wanting to keep this Cassio safe here. Sterric stun now for Bwipo. He's going to be really strong. Yeah. They're putting a lot of emphasis on keeping Quad safe. If Cassio's tanky enough, it can be so problematic. They're just going to start Otacon and Dragon at the same time.
Hold on, we got to fight though. Bwipo has found FBI back in the mid lane. He goes for the World Ender. He's trying to full send this. Eyla flashes over the wall, trying to peel for FBI, but Bwipo just turns his attention back around. He's on a killing spree, and the enemy support is dead. FlyQuest, they find the Drake, they find a pick. They're feeling good.
Well, we knew Bwipo was going to be a problem, and the problem is here. He just goes right in on FBI. He just demolishes the bottom lane 2v1 again.
Now the Otacon started up for FlyQuest. River is nearby. 100 Thieves trying to approach. River does get tagged by the Winter's Bite. Got to be careful about that one. Bwipo forces out the call of the pack. That is a big cooldown for River not to have. If he goes in, it is a one-way trip guaranteed. FBI and Dhokla also still hanging around the area. That Deadly Flourish won't find anything. And the Otacon is secured without error by FlyQuest as they pick up 15 flower petals, and Bwipo's still going in. Q3 on the 2 targets. Dhokla and FBI have to try to get away, but there's the stun to FBI, and he gets knocked down. Dhokla has to flash over the wall trying to escape. 100 Thieves scattering all over the jungle, just trying to get away. Dhokla caught out again, jumps out of the way of the Infernal Chains. FlyQuest are running this mid game.
Yeah, and they're so far ahead, and their team comp is just so much better for 5-on-5s. I feel like this one is going to be really insanely hard for 100 Thieves to pull back the game, because FlyQuest, all they have to do is constantly group up at these objectives. 100 Thieves, you cannot get caught into one of these fights, and they're not even going to the objectives to answer. Bwipo is just coming out and finding them. And he's like, okay, I will take on 2, maybe 3 of you at once, and if you try and fight back, then Inspired comes over and we'll still chase down a kill, plus getting all the objectives anyway.
Exactly, and I mean, you have that redemption that's already early purchased from Busio dropping in to support him. We had Quad, just a brick wall, you know, at that last fight. They're going for Otacon, they're trying to get in. You just can't walk through the miasma. You can't get in onto Quad right now. So things looking very difficult for the Thieves. Quietly, we have seen Quid spending a lot of time in the side lane, so he does have a slight gold advantage. Obviously, the top side of the map is where all the gold is really concentrated for FlyQuest.
Yeah.
But Quid and FBI still are going to have opportunities, and there's going to be a ton of pressure, I think, on Quid in particular to try to find a kill in a side lane, try to find some sort of way to make it so FlyQuest can't just rinse and repeat this grouped up 5v5 that you're talking about, Kobe.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the key. The only hope is really, wait a second.
Yeah, this could be a problem for FBI. The calling takes him down to 200 HP. They almost find the kill. The redemption sniper shot nearly finishes the job there from Busio. And now FlyQuest have to try to get away. Quid wants to get some kind of a lockup here, but FlyQuest exfiltrate.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves, without Dhokla there, they don't have hard CC. Like, you have to land Jhin snares or like a Karma tether or something, but this team is so much more built to play the wide map, and since they, you know, their side lanes just kind of got destroyed in the early game here by FlyQuest, it is really hard for this 100 Thieves you know, team to operate. So we'll see. Maybe they can get some, you know, surprise like flank plays off, or maybe Big Dokes can come up with some insane Jax multiple people counter strike or something. But you gotta believe FlyQuest with their discipline are gonna be able to set up their front to back.
Yeah.
And Inspired's gonna lead the charge.
And I like how you mentioned the Big Dokes multi-counter-strike, because that's really the only way that 100 Thieves can engage. I mean, Naafiri doesn't have hard CC. Jhin could maybe land a deadly flourish, but FlyQuest, they're just going to go ahead and TP Bwipo in here as they look to control this topside river, control the 100 Thieves red side jungle. The Baron is going to be spawning in 45 seconds, and FlyQuest know how far ahead they are in this game. They want to make this scary for 100 Thieves. They want to make this an easy Baron start for themselves. Busio's got to be a little bit careful, throws up the Unbreakable, the red buff down to 1,000. River's actually going to win the smite fight for that one. Dhokla steps up to claim the secondary red buff. Bwipo hits him with a Q3, and Dhokla's Jax has already lost half health. FlyQuest trying to see if they want to go any further forward. Bwipo does steal away one of the Krugs, and then just spins that sword around, ready to regroup outside of the jungle with the rest of the team.
Yeah, you see Quid again just constantly to those side lanes, trying to draw people down to him. Quad will go to answer, but Quid, level 16, first in the game to actually hit that mark. He's been constantly out towards those side lanes, and is working in towards his third item, and he has got to find something, you know. It's just very, very difficult because both the solo laners are super strong right now. So it's not like you can just hard force and get a kill onto Bwipo or onto Quad if they show up to answer. It's got to be some sort of like a 2v1 situation, which then opens up FlyQuest to make these plays on the other side of the map where Massu is putting on pressure every time culling is up.
Yeah, and then you look at the other possible split push. Dhokla is down right now 2 levels. He's about to take over though, so it won't be a full 2 levels, but he's trying to get his experience by split pushing up on top side. And 100 Thieves are in a position where they're gonna have to outplay at some point, because FlyQuest, again, you just group up at the objective, you grab that thing, and you force 100 Thieves into more difficult scenarios. 100 Thieves, since this is just Dragon's sole point, they have another 5-minute timer. They can wait until the next one before the true big objective goes over, and they're gonna try and make the most of that time. During that time, you get as much money as you can off the side lanes. Maybe you can come up with some area to outplay through some vision sort of setup, but they have to keep their, well, here we go, an attempt for it.
Yeah, but again, this is kind of the problem of 100 Thieves don't really have a way to engage. They don't have a way to say, all right, we're going to go in and try to pick this guy. The one thing that I will give them that's kind of the non-copium angle, the reason why I think there is a legitimate reason to say, yeah, hold out for 5 more minutes, the gold lead for FlyQuest has stagnated. It has been about this 3,000, 3,500 for a good while now, so 100 Thieves have at least stopped the bleeding.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if FlyQuest will do a Baron Force before Dragon Soul, because you only have 4 minutes to wait on the one hand. But on the other hand, you also, I feel like they could gain a decent amount of small like cooldowns out of 100 Thieves if they do some sort of vision-controlled Baron force. And then you don't commit to the Baron. You don't want to flip at this point because you have such a good lead. But if you kind of start it up and then you force some cooldowns from 100 Thieves and then get off the Baron or look for your turn with your Sejuani ultimate, then maybe you even set yourselves up with an even easier Dragon Soul fight that's now only 3.5 minutes away.
Yeah, and as we know, I mean, if they don't respond quickly, this Cassio shreds Barons. You can kill that thing so incredibly fast. Yeah. Lucian also has IE now as well, so this is a high DPS Lucian build. You have the Nabora, you have the Essence Reaver, you have the IE. This isn't like Collector. It's not an early game focus. So Massu's DPS is going to be super high now too.
Yeah, and then the other side of the coin is Flowers. We can just wait for 3 minutes and go for the Soul instead. The lower risk here, and then they could try to just force 100 Thieves to walk into them there, and then you have to walk into Sejuani and Braum and Cassio and try and outplay and try and outfight it.
Okay, 100 Thieves have control over that bottom side river right now, though. Unfortunately for them, like you said, Kobe, it is still about 3 minutes until the Dragons, so pretty hard to maintain control over that area of the map when you're this far behind for that extended period of time. They will roam around as a team. Again, Quid, the strongest one on the squad by quite a significant margin. You can see FBI is still working on completing that third item, and none of these 3 items are an Infinity Edge either. He has to feel like he's going for the armor pen because he knows he'll be shooting through Bwipo and through Inspired, but it means that it's going to be so long before that Jhin really is a super large threat.
And even then, like, how are you killing Bwipo here? He's got upgraded boots with the buffs on your shields from your Spirit Visage and the Sterix that you already mentioned super early on. And Aatrox also amplifies healing. So he has mega amplified healing and shields and multiple of both. Like, Bwipo is truly going to be a raid boss.
He really is, and you can see that Inspired, he feels like this game is about quad. Not only did he get the Knight's Vow, now it's an Abyssal Mask, right? So it is just all about setting up quad for success.
And now, FlyQuest's next step for success is taking out the Tier 1 turret here in the mid lane. 100 Thieves will not be able to defend that one. So the FlyQuest gold lead going to approach about 4,000 now, as there's 90 seconds left on the clock until the Drake spawns. FlyQuest will take control over the Baron pit.
Yep. Control, the name of the game for them. We heard from Emily and Nukeduck at the beginning of the day. Nukeduck was like, okay, they drew us into their pace of the game. So very clearly, FlyQuest are not going into any sort of pace of the game towards 100 Thieves. They're waiting for the Soul, but actually going to fight over the red buff first a little bit here.
Yeah, these are the super-powered post-Baron red buffs that the whole team gets. Inspired wants to steal it away, and he'll find it. Arctic Assault back over the wall towards the team. Quid tries to escape. Bwipo's in the middle of everybody. 1v4 Aatrox, and it's the 4 who are struggling. Bwipo just continues going forward as River is exhausted. Bwipo staying alive through the Sterix. Big Doke goes in for the 3-man stun, but it ain't going to be enough. Dhokla's already down. Nice ulti from Quad. A double kill from Massu as FBI falls. Quad just continues charging in. This snake has fangs, and 100 Thieves don't have the antidote. FlyQuest pick up 2, and they're making their way over to Baron.
Okay, so it's option number 3, the red buff, actually. That is going to be the thing that determines these objectives, because that is going to be a Baron right into a Dragon Soul. 20 seconds left on this Dragon Soul. 100 Thieves, they're making the call to teleport back out. Maybe they think that they can squeeze in a dragon kill during the reset.
And I just love the timing on what they're going for here, FlyQuest. They all have their 3 completed items. They know they're at a much stronger point in the game, and look at them turning on to Quid. He's the strongest member. They all peel back to try to free up Massu, and it's Bwipo alone, but it's Bwipo we talked about, how ridiculously tanky he is. They can't burst him down.
And now Quid's under pressure yet again. Busio, Bwipo, and Quad all looking to focus that enemy Ryze, focus that potential carry, while Massu and Inspired are still both doing the damage under the Drake. River wanted to come around for a potential portal steal on the Soul, but he's not there in time. Now FBI's in some danger. Focus aggro onto Quid now instead. Massu dashes right back in for a bullet in his back. Quid is down for the next 55 seconds. The Dragon Soul has been claimed by FlyQuest. 100 Thieves are knocked on their butts, and they are not standing up. FlyQuest keeps them down.
Yep, and they've got Dragon Soul on top of the Baron. They're coming for the base next, Flowers. That's all that is left. So they're split pushing. Well, they're also going to go for Dhokla.
Yeah, Dokla's trying to get something back in a side lane, but Busio and Quad do not want to let him. Counter-Strike's nice against auto attacks, but Cassiopeia's Fangs do not care. Bwipo wraps around the guarantee they get the kill, and now there's still 20 seconds left on Quid. 45 now on Dhokla. FBI with the Jhin gets caught out by the Glacial Prison. Massu doesn't quite have enough damage to finish him off here just yet. Deadly Flourish ain't gonna do enough to fire back into Massu.
Here comes Bwipo.
River here on the front line. Bwipo wants to go over the wall, maybe look for FBI. Q2 goes through. FBI is down, and Bwipo is flying through the 100 Thieves base. River manages to get away as Quid respawns, but FlyQuest are just knocking these guys down across the rift, one after the other after the other. FlyQuest have just been better here in this third game. They will take the inhibitor in mid lane. They will take out the inhibitor turret bottom lane. 100 Thieves still have 20 seconds till FBI and Eyla are back alive. Quid just gets dogpiled. FlyQuest heal themselves up with another redemption. Dhokla and River are next to fall. Fly did it in one long extended play. They make their way onto the Nexus as Eyla respawns only to nearly die to the culling. And FlyQuest send a message. 15-1 in game 3. They're going to match point.
I think Bwipo sent a message to the 100 Thieves bottom lane as well, because the game started out with him killing the 100 Thieves support, and it ended with him killing the 100 Thieves bottom lane again in their own base.
Monster performance out of FlyQuest. Can 100 Thieves bounce back? Lounge, what do you got for us?
I don't know.
I'm saying Bwipo is wide.
Yeah.
Very wide.
I also
Very
loved
wide.
all of the redemption follow-ups from Busio. It was kind of a race to see if he could get in, like steal that kill, you know?
That's the game you have to completely forget about if you're 100 Thieves, because I
Yeah.
don't feel like their draft suited their strengths there. They didn't have that much CC, 4 flanks. They put themselves in a position where they had to win lane early.
Yeah.
And then once they gave that kill over to Bwipo in the 1v3, oh my
Yeah.
God.
That was the kicker. That one dive that got botched. Eyla tries to get through the turret, takes 2 shots, it gets pulled back in after flashing. And from that moment, it's like, yeah, the comp doesn't